Hello everyone, let's talk, because I just did this other video, and now I'm gonna do this video. So this video is just the final thoughts of Power Rangers Samurai, but instead of talking about how the freaking characters and the storyline played out, which, let me tell you, it was a far cry from freaking Shinkenger. It was a far cry from that. We're gonna actually focus on Bulk and Spike. Of course, we can also focus on Skull, but how it could have played out to make it actually more beneficial than just Bulk and Spike just being nothing but the comic relief. Which, that's cool and all, but from what I can see is that there's another story here. Considering, sadly, they got a 20-year-old to play a Spike, which, at that point, you could actually have went to the argument of the reason why Skull took Spike to Bulk is because, well, he's basically a freaking couch potato. He is a slacker. He actually stays on his mom's couch every single day, not even wanting to go for a job or anything, and he's just watching TV. So what you're trying to do is get Bulk to whip Spike into shape so he actually will become a worker. And, well, because his dad is a mogul, there is nothing he really has to do, because all he can do is just sit back, relax, and if he does need a job, he can get his dad can get him a job, and guess what? He won't have to do because he is the freaking owner's son, and he could do whatever he freaking damn wants. But what Skull wanted him to do is learn from Bulk, and that would most likely shape him as a person and as a man. Sadly, we didn't get that truthfully in the freaking Power Rangers Samurai Super Samurai series. I think they did. They tried. They had a good idea, but they didn't really want to go serious. Why? Because of the damn kids. Because of the freaking audience that they're watching. But if you want the freaking thing to age well, if you want audience to continue to enjoy Power Rangers, you have to have some of that meaning in there as well. So at least when it comes to like adults being dragged into this, the good news is that the adults won't have to freaking get tortured. Instead, it's more of the fact of the adults actually will watch and say, oh my gosh, this is an interesting side story besides Power Rangers, which technically, most of the times they did have some stories that actually does touch freaking adults. Of course, on the other hand, if they would actually have got Spike as a 15-year-old, which would have fit perfectly with my theory, what could have happened is that freaking damn Skull needed help because the mom is tired of dealing with freaking Spike's bullshit. And because he's a 15-year-old, same age as Bulk and Skull once was, and they were bullies, and it looks like that freaking Spike is a bully as well, and a bad kid. So what is going to happen now is that the freaking mom needs help from the dad to get him straight, to straighten him up, to show him the error of what he's doing. Because, well, let's face it, chances are she might know a little bit about Bulk and Skull's past, so chances are she might remember that, oh, they were bullies? So, yeah. So she sent him to Skull. Skull decided to say, this kid, what can I do? And he decides to bring the ringleader in, aka Bulk, because more than anyone, chances are Bulk knows the error of their ways from back then. And of course, Bulk and Skull grew. They went from bullies to actually being patrol, to detectives, to owners of a freaking damn hotel, to what they are now, which is most likely they're wiser than they were back then. Thus is the reason why Skull decided to call up Bulk and say, hey, Spike is a problem kid. He has problems. He's doing what we used to do way back when. Since you know more than anyone the error of our ways, how about you help me straighten up this kid? And that's why Power Rangers Samurai happens. Well, for the not action part. So that's what happened with Spike, is that Spike is a problem child. And it would be kind of fun to actually see him, because he does like the Pink Ranger. How about we actually make him the fact of he messes with the Pink Ranger every time he sees her? Of course, demorph Pink Ranger, that is. And that would be kind of fun to see that. It would be kind of fun to see that. And Bulk is like, oh my gosh, this kid. And eventually, by the end of the series, he changed his ways. He's found the error of his ways. He's not a bully no more. He actually will become a good kid. And that is how, technically, if Power Ranger Samurai Super Samurai actually had some good writing, most likely could actually have fruited this. And that would have been a cool side story. And for kids growing up and actually want to watch Power Ranger Samurai again, chances are, even though the freaking the writing is crappy as hell right now. Let's say if they didn't make it crappy as hell, it actually would be something that is understandable. It has a following. But of course, Power Ranger Samurai Super Samurai, it doesn't deserve a following. And of course, if you're following it, hey, you found something cool you like. That's good for you. But me personally, it's like, dude, if I can't explain to people what the fuck is with the freaking origin, I can't follow it. And besides, Shinkenger is just so much better. I mean, here's the question that most likely I'll get asked and everyone else will get asked. How the fuck do freaking damn samurai work? Because think about it. All 5 of them. One's Asian, which one of them can actually work. The other 4 is Hispanic, white, black. How the fuck does that work in freaking Japan? And before anyone says, oh, well, there's mix in there. There's mix in there. I guess that was work. That does kind of work. But how the fuck can that actually work? The fact of there's so many generations passed down. And I don't think by any chance, out of all the people they chose, they decided to choose the ones who moved to Japan in months. Or heck, sadly, my gag is the fact that there's 4 groups of tourists, 4 couples who are tourists, and 1 person who actually was in Japan. All 5 of them been chosen. They fight. Then all of a sudden, all 5 of them decides to go to America, which, of course, if they were tourists, they actually had to go back to America. And the Pink Rangers family, for some reason, decides to say, let's uproot, let's go to America and follow them. And, well, they keep contact, but, of course, in this freaking series, there's no such thing of them actually contacting each other. Now, if they actually, because if this freaking crappy of an idea plays out, then that means that everyone knows each other because they were training, except for the Red Ranger who, well, his parent dies, so I have no idea how that freaking thing works. That story is for some other time. Well, technically it will be 3 tourist families and 1's missing, but hey, I guess the Pink Ranger family decides to take the Red Ranger's ticket and say, fuck you, man, you're on your own, kid. Yeah, but oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. And then later on, he moves to freaking, I don't know. See, this is why it breaks apart even when I try to fix it and make it work. It doesn't work. So yeah. You can't really have a following if the freaking origin is just laughable. And of course, I can understand you guys actually say, oh, but we need to have it diversified. The group had to be diversified. Why the hell could you not do what one person said, make the Red Ranger Asian, and then the idea would be they have a secret dojo, or they have a dojo with alternative motives. And the dojo would actually have taught kids how to fight. So when the freaking Nylock shows up, and heck, how about they even show up in the freaking damn dojo? You have all the students, which some of them weren't, like for instance, they chances are wouldn't have picked the Green Ranger Mike, but he's the one who stayed and decided to defend the dojo. They wouldn't have picked Emily, but since her sister got sick, they said, well, chances are maybe she has the same spirit as her sister, and then, of course, the other 2 is okay. And that's how the freaking group happened. It's the fact that the freaking dojo got attacked. The 20 people they had in the dojo, which they didn't want to shoo anyone away because, well, they just needed 4 other people. They freaking ran for it, and the 4 that actually stayed, who wants to defend the dojo, defends the dojo. As for Antonio's story, technically I would have said, dude, he should have been Asian too. 2 Asians, why not? He should have just been Asian. And don't come over here and say all this messed up. It's like I actually liked Genta's character. And I wouldn't actually tell them to freaking rewrite it. And heck, to get the sushi changer in this, it would have been great because it got thrown away. Antonio just got a freaking silver normal morpher. But the freaking sushi changer would have been something very cool to have as a toy, especially in America. But of course, they couldn't do it because they decided to say, no sushi, no, we're going to do fish. Even though I'm shocked that they didn't just make a crappy fish morpher, which that would have been horrible as frick. But hey, at least it would actually had some way of individuality. But it didn't. Anyways, yeah. But in total, I think with Skull, Bulk, and Spike's story, their story could actually have been something interesting, something that actually continued to build the Power Ranger continuity. And heck, if you wanted to even do that, you could have just did something about, oh, well, Spike was born out of wedlock, so hey, the statistics of him being a bad kid is actually very, very good, which is why he's a bad kid. As for the series, as you can see, I don't like the series at all. I just don't like the series at all. So, thank you for watching. And, of course, if you out there who love Power Rangers Samurai and Power Rangers Super Samurai, and you want to start something and comment down below and freaking do this crap, well, you can, but just tell me. Yeah, before you freaking damn start yelling at me and saying, Asians, no, that's racist. Explain to me how the frick the 5 Rangers who were chosen before the 5 Rangers we got, explain how their origin happens. If you can explain it and give me a good explanation what happens, then you can talk crap to me. Other than that, you're just going to have to sit down and shut up because I sure can't figure out some way how this actually can work. Thank you and good night.